Here's some early testing of the Northern. It's a little different Northern, I guess you could say. The body and the shell of the tender are getting painted by Timco, so I'm working with a spare chassis, but I do have the chassis of the tender, which is a little unique, as you can see by the length. It's actually an American Models tender, which is referred to as the extended range oil tender for the Northern. So it's very squarish looking with handrails and stuff on top, and it's for extended range oil feeding the steam engine. But this is a Timco remote motor, and he is one of the few folks that actually gave us a flywheel, and the flywheel is necessary with the Mike's Train House controller that we're using, because we need to have a tachometer. Up here is the read-write head that reads the stripes. Knowing the RPMs and the diameter of the wheel, it matches the speed with the sounds and controls within the controller. It has my smoke on it. I can feel the fan. The fan is humming right now for just a small plume of smoke coming out. But one of my learning issues is my heater's not working, so I've got to figure out what's going on there. These are the tail lights. I did a real quick test because I don't like to drill those holes in and have the lights sticking out, so I'm going to use fiber optic. If you can see the tip of this, okay, it's pretty good. So I'm going to use a fiber optic and then align these lights off of a fixture in the back. It'll be a fixture that's going to double up as the baffle for the speaker, and it'll also come up and it'll hold these lights in a little fixture, and it'll have a tiny hole in front where the back end of the fiber optic will poke into it. But when you take the thing apart, you can just lift the lid off and the lights would stay in their fixture and the fiber would stay with the body. So you don't have to worry about threading the lights as you take things off and on. I like that idea a lot. Then you don't have the bulb itself going through the body. This is a dual board with a lot of other capacitors and relays and things going on. It does put out a little bit of heat. This thing is barely warm right now, so there would be a heat sink involved. I've got we had it up once at the hobby store, who helped me update my controllers here and also helped me load the program into this guy. So we're testing and tuning and making sure, okay, what works and what doesn't work. And I do have some issues. One is my smoke heater isn't firing, and the other is the headlight is not firing. But I did a test with a LED, and I can run a headlight off of the motor if I have to. So every time the motor is running, the headlight's on, which isn't so bad. There is a reverse light that can alert you that it turns on when the reverse is engaged, and I'll show you that here. So let's see if we can get started. I'll show you the bell. I'll show you it. I'll listen to it. And the horn is a little robust, and I don't have a baffle, and the speaker's not bolted down, so just take it easy. I'll get a baffle for that speaker, and that horn will sound 5 times better. And so now we're going to pull out, and what you'll see the stripes will start to move. You'll see the wheel churning, and you'll hear some steam noise and some chuffing and puffing. And this is how the engine is designed to start out. They're taking it easy so they don't spin the wheels. change directions. Hit the brake. Let's go forward faster, hit the brake, and you'll hear how the brake squeal is built in. All right. There is some crew chatter. They will say things now and again about how's this and how's that. There's also a passenger freight announcement. I don't know why we got train 41, the Pelican, but I am going to be researching the sounds to make sure we have what we think we have. Watch your step. So it goes through that cycle. I try to end that. All right. And the last thing I was going to show you was the rear coupler. Listen. Oh, this should have been it's all right. There we go. That's the rear coupler. And those are all the big pieces, I guess you can say. There's an on-off switch for smoke. There's a ground. There's some other signals around that we need to figure out. There's a volume control that we need to handle, whatever way that is. And but we're getting there. And what I'm going to work on now are going to be the baffle for this system, and then the holder for these tail lights to make sure they're in the right position. And then I've got to find out why my smoke heater's not working and the headlight. Now I've worked on a backup to the headlight. If I can't figure this out, I put this headlight on the motor, and when the motor's on, this headlight runs. So we'll have a headlight one way or another. So we got to have smoke. So this is not an option. I have run this system exactly the same on other PS2s and 3s, and it works fine. So that's probably a connection somewhere or something that I have to do in my configuration. Not too worried, but I think in general it's there. The tether has been figured out. We know how we're going to put that together, and it's going to be a hell of a ride. It's going to be pretty nice. Okay, so this is Mike's Train House, which is very complex, high tech, $150, $200 box right there. Different motor, different way of getting a chuff trigger from a tachometer, which is pretty cool. You can take this gear off and save it. You don't need it. And this is with the new fan-driven smoke that I've designed, and I just have to figure out how to get that heater working properly. We should be in good shape. I'm not worried. Okay, more later. Hasta la vista.